Hello, fellow photogs, and welcome to this episode of Urban Edge Academy. We've got some really exciting news we're going to talk about tonight. Procreate just emailed everybody and let them know that we have 5.2 available. So we're going to update this and check it out and see what's changed here. So let's just go ahead and run through some of the changes on what is new. If you haven't had an opportunity to hop on the App Store and check it out. So 5.2 has been in the works for months and months and months and months. And they've been kind of bragging about the harnessing the power of the M1 inside of the new iPads. So iPad Pros with 6 gig of RAM or more can now take advantage of the extra memory and create even more layers. So this is at the top. This is bullet 1. This is exactly what we've been waiting for. So remember, you can get an M1 iPad Pro with either 8 gig or a 16 gig, and that depends on how much space you get. So if I believe it's 1 terabyte of space or more, that comes with 16 gig of RAM. If you get anything less than that, it's 8 gig of RAM. So really, really awesome here. That is bullet 1. Bullet 2, some stroke stabilization. So this affects all of us, of course. So slow is smooth, smooth is fast. That's actually kind of a quote from Shooter, the movie Shooter with Mark Wahlberg. But yeah, it's very, very true here as well. So it looks like they're doing some really, really cool stuff just to get us some ultra smooth and stable strokes as we paint and edit and do all that kind of fun stuff. So that's awesome. Recent brushes, I think, is definitely one thing that's been asked for a long time. So your most recently used brushes are now just a tap away. That's fantastic. Brush size memory, if you've ever been annoyed by that, we are with you on that. So now you'll be able to save your exact brush sizes and the opacity with just a single tap. That's fantastic. The next one here doesn't really apply to us photographers as much, but if it applies to you, let us know. But this 3D model painting sounds super interesting. I'd love to be able to try that out just for kicks. But in the portrait world, that's not as applicable to us photographers. We've got another one here, material brushes. So paint beautiful textures with color, metallics, roughness all at once with material brushes. That sounds amazing. So in a lot of the edits that we do for our 360 roll magazine, we actually throw on all different kinds of paints and colors and stuff like that and then blur it and do all kinds of fun stuff. So this sounds really awesome and very applicable to us. We also have some page assist stuff, so ideal for creating storybooks, comics, books, and sketchbooks, things like that. So Procreate is exclusively what we build our magazine out of. We started with Canva. We've used designer programs from Adobe and Affinity and all kinds of stuff, but Procreate works really, really well combining a stack and then exporting that as the entire magazine. So this is awesome to see some page assist stuff there. The next one here, the next bullet is PDF import. So if your line of work involves signing PDFs or contracts, things like that, importing the PDFs directly into Procreate and marking them up is a great way to do that. We haven't had any trouble just using Preview or whatever for iPad Pro, but it's nice to have the additional flexibility in case we want brushes and different ways to mark up a PDF. All brand new to this one is going to be that lighting studio. So customizable full color light sources to create the perfect atmosphere. I think this is this is about the rendering the 3D objects perhaps. But place an object into any of the 11 natural or artificial lighting environments ranging from nightlife to daytime and anywhere in between. It's going to be really interesting to see that. And then of course also related to the 3D modeling was View in AR. Fantastic. Definitely going to need some more RAM for that fancy stuff. Improved in adjustments. So pencil and filters using a brush. What wasn't great was having to choose between layer and pencil every single time you wanted to apply adjustment. Now, layer and pencil options are now always available to switch between. You can apply an effect to an entire layer, then retouch with an Apple Pencil anytime. Interesting. We also have some new color cards. We're going to check those out. Colors are automatically named by shade and color or customize the name anytime. That's really neat. Larger text, always appreciated. Hopefully we can customize that in case you're not a fan of extra large text. None of us are getting any younger. True that, especially while waiting for 5.2 to come out. And then single touch gestures. So zooming, pinching, rotating, very nice. Without needing to actually pinch your fingers together. So that's really cool. And then Procreate 5.2 also includes some localized language support, color naming conventions, voiceover support, dynamic brush sizing, all the good stuff. All right, let's update and check it out. All right, we just opened up one of our portraits that we did for one of our magazine issues recently, and we've kind of been checking out some of the new stuff here. And you're probably not going to notice everything right away, but we can go ahead and get started with like a new project here, a custom canvas, of course, and maximum layers, 389. That's obnoxiously large. That's insane. What was, I mean, this is like at least twice what it was before. I'm not even sure, but that's insane. And then if you have like a Canon R5, kind of one of the in that 40 megapixel, I think that's what it is, kind of range, or DSLR that has closer to 30 megapixels, something like that, then you're going to be dealing with photos, if you choose to edit them at full resolution here, something closer to... So we actually shoot with a Canon R5 now here at Urban Edge Studios as the primary camera. We still have a 5D Mark IV for backup, but the R5 has been doing really, really well. And this thing puts out 45 megapixel portraits for us, and so that's going to be about 8,000 by 4,000. So if you decided to edit at around that resolution, 4320 by 8,192, something like that, you still get 25 layers, which is really, really good. But for our magazine, we're usually putting out about 2,200 pixels by 1,400, something like that. But to have over 300 layers is absolutely insane. So that's fantastic. And then let's see, let's do a screen size 16, something like that. 256 layers, that's fantastic. So that's definitely taking advantage of the new M1 processor and all that extra RAM. So that's absolutely wild. So that's awesome. And then if we zoom into one of the portraits we did recently, kind of went over the top with some fun artistic stuff here in Procreate, we can look at all the layers and start to see everything that we had going on. Let's go ahead and turn some of this fun stuff off. Check out some of this, see what was on the base here. And I definitely remember if we were doing, I think it was about 30 megapixel and around like 30 layers, something like that. It wasn't too many, and so we had to reduce our size down to like about half that 2,000 or 2,200 by 1,400 or 1,333, something like that, just so we could get that many more layers, just depending on what we're doing. But it's awesome now to have over 300 layers available. Probably not going to run out of space there. So that's absolutely wild. So what I want to show you here is over here on the left, we've got our, of course, brush size and our opacity, but we've got a fun little button here that when you hover over, we've made some adjustments here. So if we go to this particular brush, now we don't have those little lines, but you're gonna have to have a little 2-finger action here. So once you're settled on a size, so I really like 94, just use your other finger to tap and it will save that little bar there. Now I notice it doesn't seem to snap into place there, but if you tap it separately, we'll actually go straight there. And then right here, if we love that opacity, right around 55%. And then we've got that. So we've got this brush here. Let's hop on. Just do a new little layer right on the root here. And we've got, this is the action here, right? So that's the size that we like, but if we ever wanted to scale it back down, we can do this, but then we could, boom, tap that. That's the memory, the brush size memory that they talked about. So if you were just wanted to come up to be 100% opacity there, you can do that, and then just tap to bring it back down and you'll get back. And this is actually saved to the brush, so that's fantastic. If I come back up to this brush, you can see I have different save points for this one. So this is completely different. If I come back down, boom, see how it moves? Because I've saved those particular, I don't have anything saved on this one. So if I really like this huge, and then this one I like 19%, We can go ahead and have a new layer there, hide that nonsense. And then we've got this going on nice and light. Bring it back up a little bit, but if we want to get back down, we don't have to remember exactly what opacity we were at. So that's fantastic there. And it looks like you can save for the erase. So depending on what you're doing, whatever project you got going on, you can save your spot, boom, for the eraser as well. Boom. And then now you've got that to save as well. Smudge. So we've got a little smudge tool here. Boom, plus sign. Opacity there. Do our little smudge action as well. It's actually saved, so that's fantastic. So those are kind of the two biggest changes that we were really looking for, is brush opacity and size memory, as well as those extra layers that everybody has been dying to have, depending on the projects they've been working on. When you run out, you have to start merging things together, and it just gets absolutely obnoxious. But for $10, Procreate is absolutely mind-blowing. You can absolutely run a creative, like, company project side gig hustle off of this. So now we actually have cards. So these are color cards, and it names grayish orange. How unique. Dark cyan, very nice. Cyan, blue, all this good stuff. So we've got these palettes that are kind of built in here. So depending on what you're looking for in the project, yeah, this could be really cool here. So set as default, duplicate, share, all that good stuff. These are actually both called pink, but it looks like it's using a little AI here to figure out what color it is. And then of course we've got dark grayish red orange. I'll take your word for it. I guess there's a little bit of orange in there. So that's really cool to have those cards built in. Palette from image. So that's, if you haven't used that feature, that's really cool to be able to import an image and then actually use that to generate the palette. But yeah, some of these are just kind of nonsensical with light grayish cyan blue. I mean, can't argue with it. That's definitely pink. So that's really cool to bring that in. So let me know in the comments below what you guys are loving about 5.2. This is just kind of a brief introduction to some of the really cool stuff they got going on. Most of the menus seem to look about the same here. I can tell the interface is a little bit different. The color picker, for example, over here on the left side is definitely bigger than it was previously, this little square over here. So that's kind of cool. And then I think maybe the fonts are just a little bit bigger. And I don't know if you can customize those. We got a brush cursor, right hand interface, light interface. Oh, that's fun. Is that new? That might not be new, but this is really cool. I don't know if I've ever seen that one. And then brush cursor, dynamic brush scaling. Oh yeah, look at that. We've got a little bit, if we zoom in here, let's pick a different brush. We've got our memory saved there. Oh, look at that. Yep, you can see exactly where it's going to go. Yeah, that's definitely taking advantage. A little bit more horsepower to keep that up and going in real time. So I kind of like the light interface, but you really don't want that to interfere with your project. So that's really cool that they give you the option for that. Most of the other options seems like everything else that we had before. Finger will always smudge, stuff like that. I think that is all stuff that was kind of already there. But if there's a few things that you have noticed, depending on your workflow and your projects, that you just are absolutely loving from 5.2, please let us know. We'll get the conversation started about all this new stuff that just came in. We have just been wanting 5.2 for months and months. I thought it was going to come at the last Apple event, but it surely did not. They are just kind of working on their own schedule, which is awesome, but they got it all taken care of. And yeah, this is awesome. All right, guys, we got to get back to work, but thank you so much for joining us on this video. We'll talk to you guys in the next one. Thanks. Baby,